The Breakfast Club is a new movie about teenagers. It's a story of what happens to 5 high school students: a brain, a beauty, a jock, a rebel, a recluse. They're forced to spend their Saturday together because they're all in detention. Joining us this morning are the beauty and the rebel, Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson. Good morning and welcome to both of you. To either of you, why have the 5 of those students been cast together in detention? And then what happens?
Well, you sort of find out during the course of the movie. You know, we don't want to give away any secrets, but we're all in there for our little individual crime, which, you know, a couple of them are more serious than others. And what happens is we're, a lot happens. We're all really incredibly honest. And when people are honest, a lot of interesting things happen. It doesn't happen that much.
The character you play, Molly, is named Claire Standish.
Right.
Which tells us quite a lot about her, I think. What else should we know about Claire, the beauty?
Well, she can be described as the girl that you grew up hating. You know, she's the prom queen, homecoming queen, filthy rich, all, you know, perfect clothing and everything. And she's one of these real kind of, she looks real superficial, not very intelligent. And she appears that way, but she turns out not to be that way at all.
And Judd, who do you play?
I play John Bender, who's, I guess you could say he's from the wrong side of the tracks. He's at the school and feels sort of that he's in this poker game in which all the cards are marked, but everyone else knows what the marks stand for except him.
Well
so
put.
He's a bit angry.
Now, you can speak like that because you are nothing at all like this, John. You, in fact, are a prepster from way back.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit, but why don't we pause and see a clip from The Breakfast Club. What I was getting to, Judd, you play a hood when you, in fact, went to one of the finest prep schools in the country in real life. How did you go back and recall what life as a hood in a public high school might be like?
Well, I have to draw on my imagination a great deal. But in addition to that, we rehearsed outside of Chicago. And I went to an actual high school in the area for about a week and attended classes and was a quiet corner observer.
Looking like Judd or like John?
Like John.
With the hair and...
Yes, with the hair and the clothes, so that the kids in the school would treat me the way that they would treat a character like John.
Which is to say, how?
With a great deal of condescension. Mm-hmm. And it was great to get the sense of oppression that I think runs rampant in public high schools. Deans in the hallways, hall monitors, principals telling you what to do every second.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Molly, you, in playing Claire, I take it you don't feel a lot like a Claire type. How did you know how to do her?
Well, I'm still in high school, and
You're 17?
I'm going to be 17 this month, and there's girls like Claire in every school. You know, I mean, there's no school without a Claire Standish, and I've observed them a great deal, you know, and it was really easy. It was a lot of fun.
You've been working as an actress. You were telling me, actually, you were singing at 5?
4.
4, but professionally, you began at 13. What kind of parts does Molly Ringwald tend to get?
Well, usually so far, let me see, probably the normal sort of teenage all-American kind of, you know, yeah. I mean, I don't know. My parts are changing now. Claire was a lot different than the character I played before that. In another movie I just did, Surviving, it's a character that's a lot different than Claire. So it just varies, yeah. I suppose.
Judd, you are the old man, as you put it, of this group. You're 24. Were you cast in, not in characters, but amongst these actors as an authority figure? Did your age make a difference?
No, I think I probably behave in the most immature fashion of the 5. So I don't think that I was cast to be the father figure, no.
Yeah, you haven't been a teenager for a long time. How was it going back?
Real easy. It was real easy to do. I mean, I was very serious, I think, when I was 16 and 17 and 18. And it was nice to return to that type of seriousness.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being with us. It looks like an interesting movie. And tomorrow morning, we'll meet the other members of The Breakfast Club, Ali Sheedy, Emilio Estevez, and Anthony Michael Hall. What happens when 5 high school students, a jock, a brain, a recluse, a rebel, and a beauty, are forced to spend their Saturday together in detention. Well, it's a new movie called The Breakfast Club. Yesterday we met the rebel and the beauty. This morning we'll talk to the recluse if she has anything to say, the jock and the brain. Ali Sheedy, Emilio Estevez, and Anthony Michael Hall. And welcome. You could have played the beauty. But yes, Ali, you chose to play.
No, they chose.
Well, I mean,
recluse.
okay, I say that that physically you could have played the beauty, but here you are cast as a recluse who seems to be a little disturbed. What more can you tell me about your character?
Allison is. She seems to be a little disturbed, actually, inside. I think she just would really like to have a lot of love, and the basic feeling was, well, if I don't pretend that I'm crazy and get a lot of attention that way, I'm going to be completely invisible and sort of just disappear. So this is her game.
What kind of business does she use to look crazy?
Well, she hides, you know, behind this hair, and she just puts on layers and layers of clothes. You can't really see what she's like, and she's got all this protection around her and all these things in a bag that she travels around with, you know. She's sort of like a mini bag lady.
We'll see a little more of her in a moment. Emilio, who do you play?
I play a character named Andy Clark, who's the high school wrestling champion. He's a state champion wrestler, and he is a guy that goes by the book. He's very strict. He's been raised very strictly by his coach, by his father, and he's really this mini volcano ready to explode. And it's at a time in his life where a lot of these problems have built up, a lot of these pressures that he's had, you know, one on top of the other, and they've compounded to the point where he's ready to confront them.
You filled in a lot of his personal history. Is that all in the script, or did you have to manufacture some of that?
I think I played sports in high school, so I knew kind of what that team feeling is like, and that pressure to win, and that pressure to be the best and the fastest. And so I was able to draw from that.
Mm-hmm. Michael, you play the brain. Were you typecast?
Well, the typecast, hardly. No, I was not typecast. I play Brian Johnson, who is, as you said, the brain. But he's kind of stereotyped as the brain, just as he's stereotyped as the jock. And he's real smart, real intelligent, and
does anybody like him?
Yeah. I mean, but he's real distant because he's scared, and he's very sensitive. He's very in tune to how he feels, and he's ready to share that, but no one was really there.
Well,
you know?
we've seen heard the introductions. Why don't we see a clip from The Breakfast Club? What happens in real life? Do you Monday morning stay friends when the shoot is over? Are the five of you who made the movie friends in real life?
Actually, since filming the movie, some of us have really gotten to be very, very close. It's hard because there's a lot of time spent apart and things like that.
Sure.
But I think it's one of the greatest things about filming that movie is that I really got to be close to the other people in it, and it's really nice.
You are being compared, your movie, to, I guess, an adolescent version of The Big Chill. You like the comparison? Is it apt?
I don't know. All the people in that movie seem to be older, and it dealt with the 60s and that whole era. And they all were friends, you know. It was real different, but I understand the comparisons. I don't, you know.
As an ensemble.
Yeah.
Emilio, I got this far without mentioning it, but the resemblance is so striking. Your father is Martin Sheen.
Yes.
Do you find professionally it's an advantage looking like someone as brilliant in the profession as he is?
An advantage? I don't know. I think at first maybe it was a hindrance because I would go in for an audition or a meeting and people would be expecting, you know, a Martin Sheen level type of performance, and I was at no point, and it was a point in my career where I wasn't able to do that.
You as good as he was at 22?
I don't know. I don't know.
Kind of on the spot.
On the spot here. He's going to be watching, so I better...
Yes, I think Ali makes a good point. You're as good as you are at 22. Well,
Right.
thank you all, and good luck.
Thank you.
Breakfast Club.